Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on WandaVision. And this will be my breakdown for WandaVision episode 6, otherwise titled All New Halloween Spooktacular, where I will be breaking down the episode bit by bit as I give you guys my overall thoughts on the episode, and I'll be giving you guys some Easter eggs and some theories alongside that as well. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Marvel content coming your way. And spoiler alert, in case you haven't caught up with WandaVision this season, you have been warned, since I'll be going over the episode bit by bit as I give you guys my overall thoughts on it, and I'll be going over some major spoilers that you certainly wouldn't want to hear from me as well. So if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it and come back later. As I said, you have been warned. So this episode kicks off with Billy as he tells us his favorite thing about Halloween while he is dressed in costume. But on the other hand, his twin brother, Tommy, doesn't have a costume as he considers himself being the cool twin. But the boys wonder what's up with their uncle, Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver, and he's basically like sleeping on the living room couch until 4 in the afternoon. And the two kids were planning on scaring him or something like that, and then Pietro just wakes up and he just goes like boo and then scares the kids. But they are soon joined by their mother, Wanda, who arrives in a Scarlet Witch comic book accurate costume, and it's basically like an Easter egg designed for the audience, with the twins left wondering who she's supposed to be. I think they said, "Are you Little Red Riding Hood?" or something like that. But Wanda says that she's a Sokovian fortune teller, which is quite funny because Wanda does have those abilities as well, as during Avengers Age of Ultron, she made Iron Man vision that thing that he saw. So yeah, you could say that it is quite ironic that she said that. But Vision turns up in his own comic book accurate costume as well and describes himself as a Mexican wrestler. Vision then says that he has to leave for the neighborhood to watch duty, which upsets Wanda because this was the first time the kids were going to celebrate Halloween, and obviously Vision goes away, so Wanda wouldn't be too happy about that, but we all know what Vision was going to be up to. And then Pietro then steps in and agrees to be the man who basically shepherds the twins as Uncle P. And Wanda notes that he doesn't have a costume because they're going out for Halloween, and what is he going to do without a costume? Just like Tommy, this leads to Pietro running to the store and basically puts them both a Quicksilver outfit on. And as you guys could see from Quicksilver himself as well, he does have his comic book accurate hair as well, with like the dual winged as well. Now, WandaVision episode 6 has plenty of Easter eggs, though it has no interest in explaining what's happening with this universe crashing casting, because obviously Pietro Maximoff is played by Evan Peters, who is from the X-Men movies, not the MCU. So we should be getting answers from that soon enough, because for now at least it is quite weird that we saw this. But outside of Westview, we then head to Sword, and director Tyler Hayward is sure that Wanda must be treated as a target. They basically need to neutralize her in order to restore order. And Monica Rambeau doesn't agree with this and insists that if Wanda is the problem, then she must be the solution as well. And given the extent of her powers, like, she'll be impossible to stop, especially with like the things that Sword have. And Hayward says, "You people who left, you still have the luxury of optimism." To which Monica responds, "Don't use the 5 years as an excuse for being a coward." But still, Hayward is in charge of Sword. He's the director, which means Rambeau is escorted out along with her supporters, Jimmy Woo and Darcy. He's like, okay, you're off the case, and they're basically out. But they aren't going quietly, obviously. Monica and Jimmy Woo take out the guards while they were being escorted, and they basically take their clothes so they could go in disguise. And Darcy was shocked. She's like, wait, you didn't tell me about the plan, which was quite funny to see. Back inside of Westview, we have Wanda, Pietro, and the kids just going around trick-or-treating, but Pietro uses his speed and takes the kids and basically robs everyone around them and basically destroys their Halloween party, which was quite funny to see. And Wanda then runs into Herb, and Herb was dressed as like a Frankenstein monster. He was also part of the neighborhood watch, and he discovers that Vision is not on duty when he was supposed to be, because that's what Vision told Wanda. But actually, Vision is studying the people of Westview, and as he goes around, he obviously sees that people are frozen, so he's wondering like what's up with that. But later on, Pietro gives us our first clue on what's going on and like why he is here in Westview. And basically he says that he was shot in the street and then he heard Wanda calling out to him, so he just came. He's referencing to the moment from Avengers Age of Ultron when he got shot, suggesting that he doesn't remember anything from his X-Men universe, which is quite confusing. Or maybe he's just lying, we don't know. I'll get into like something else later on, which I do have a theory on. But Wanda's twins turn up and Tommy basically discovers that he has super speed. So that is obviously leading up to him becoming Speed from the comics. And Wanda asks Tommy to basically take his brother along to these quick adventures and reminds him not to go past Ellis Avenue. Back to Vision intercutting with the trio Monica Rambeau, Jimmy Woo and Darcy as well. They start to realize that the people living on the edge of Westview aren't behaving properly. Does Wanda have a circle of influence? Maybe her powers don't have the same effect as, when you get to the town's limits. Something like that. Maybe Wanda's influence grows stronger as you get to Westview's boundaries in order to prevent you from leaving. Maybe Wanda did this, so basically she uses her powers and whoever's closest to the border are basically frozen, so they just cannot escape. And there's evidence to that as we see Vision running into Agnes sitting in this motionless car, and Vision does his thing like he did last episode where he touches Agnes's forehead, bringing out the real Agnes, who reveals that Wanda won't even let them think about leaving Westview. And she basically recognizes Vision as well. She wonders if she's dead because Vision is dead, and Vision is taken back as he has no memory of his previous life. And basically Agnes uses the word Avenger and he has no effect of it, he cannot recall what that means. But Agnes then starts to panic, and this forces Vision having to put her back into her Westview state because she just cannot focus. So Vision just puts her back into Agnes inside of Westview, but he promises her that he will help her. He will stop what Wanda is doing. And Vision walks past Ellis Avenue and towards the energy field's limit so he could step outside of Westview and see what is up, which does pretty much hint towards Agnes having nothing to do with any of this. She's just like a normal person being captured, just like the others. But meanwhile that is happening, Monica Rambeau decides to head back into Westview to basically help Wanda, despite Darcy's warnings that the energy field inside is changing her on a molecular level. And this is obviously a setup to her becoming Spectrum, and I cannot wait to see that moment. But Darcy doesn't want to follow through with Monica and Jimmy Woo because she wants to stay there in the base secretly, and she wants to get past Hayward's firewalls to see what is actually up with him. But we then head back inside of Westview, and Wanda is basically talking to Pietro, and she's basically talking to him about the life she has chosen. And this leads to Pietro telling her that he knows what is going on. And the fact that he's asking these sorts of questions, how are you able to do this? How are you able to bring all these people together and make them act in a certain way? It does link to Pietro being in disguise as Mephisto, and he is dressed as Quicksilver secretly in order to get closer to the kids, because it has something to do with the comics where they're made out of Mephisto's life essence, so he needs to kill them to live basically. And Wanda initially tries to push it away, she doesn't know what it means, but Pietro is aware in regards to what she has done. And Wanda starts speaking. She admits that she doesn't know how she managed to do all of this. The only thing she remembers is that she was feeling completely alone and endless, basically nothing inside. Talking about her state after Avengers Endgame, where she's just broken because Vision was dead. But as Wanda turns around to look at Pietro, Pietro's chest is riddled with bullets and a ghastly face for just a split second, which was pretty scary. It did scare me, but it's what her brother looked like before he died during Avengers Age of Ultron. And Wanda basically flinches because she got scared as well. But then, after she looks back, Pietro's fine again. Just like what happened with Vision in episode 4, when we saw him dead without the Mind Stone and stuff. Basically when Thanos killed him, all grayed out, Wanda was able to see that, and then for a split second, he's back to normal. So the same thing happened with Pietro. So I am very interested to see what is going on over there. But Vision has made it close to the edge of Westview, but getting out isn't easy. It takes all his power to push himself through, but it seems Wanda has strengthened this barrier to prevent people from escaping, including Vision as well, as Vision is literally struggling to get out of Westview. And he begins to disintegrate with pieces of him literally coming out of his body and going inside of Westview. And that is because Westview is just trying to pull him in, and Vision's fighting against that barrier. This results into killing Vision in the process, because that energy field is just way too powerful for Vision to handle. But we see Vision's cries of anguish are heard by his son Billy, who obviously grows up to become Wiccan in the Marvel comics. He's basically capable of telepathy and stuff like that, and much more. And he just goes up to Wanda, and then he basically tells her about the news that Vision is in trouble. And in response, Wanda pauses everyone and then channels her powers to widen Westview's limits to save Vision. But she goes further and expands Westview's control, and she basically turns Sword's tents into an ice cream van and stuff like that. Sword agents are basically turned into clowns, and we do also see Darcy being sucked inside as well, which is very, very interesting, and I am interested to see how Monica and Jimmy will work to get them out. But Rambo, Jimmy Woo, and Hayward somehow just escape as Westview's boundaries just continue to grow, pretty much confirming that Wanda was the one behind this all along. At this point, we should be seeing her going down this dark path and embracing the name of Scarlet Witch, because she's no longer Wanda at this point. She's more Scarlet Witch than she's Wanda Maximoff, and I cannot wait to see how this leads into episode 7 and onwards. But overall, this was a pretty good episode. So much great stuff that I really liked going into this episode, especially Quicksilver. Quicksilver and the kids were just hilarious. I really liked how this episode ended off with a cliffhanger once again as well. It just leaves us wanting more, and I cannot wait to see what is next going into episode 7. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought about this episode. Yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.